Welcome everyone. I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, and we're here with Scott Meyer, the Teacher of the Year from the Folsom-Cordova School District, as part of our teacher profiles. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you teach and what you teach.
I'm a teacher at Mills Middle School. I teach leadership as well as social science, and I'm the activities director, so it's a lot of fun.
Tell me about teaching leadership classes to that age group. What do you work with with them, and what's that like?
Well, it's one of the reasons I got into the educational field. There's not a better age to start teaching students the skills, leadership, teaching it through a variety, whether it's sports. It's really cool because come the second half of the year, they're actually running the class. So I'm investing the first half of the year teaching them the skills, but eventually it pays off. And they love it. And hopefully it's something that they'll remember 10, 15, 20 years from now, and it'll make a difference.
So how long have you been a teacher?
6 years.
Mm-hmm. All in the Folsom-Cordova School
Yes.
District? In middle school?
I've taught at Cordova High School every summer, just to mix it up a little bit. And it's pretty cool because it's all my former students that have now gone up. So I still have that relationship with them. And it's kind of nice. It's a nice change. I couldn't honestly say which I like better, but it's a nice change.
Well, what are some of the challenges that you face as a teacher? Not necessarily just with that age group, because I know that they have some specific challenges for middle school students, but as a teacher overall, what are some of the challenges that you have now?
The number one challenge that nobody ever talks about is every student's completely different. And if they were all the same, my job would be really easy and boring. But every student has their challenges they bring, but on the twist side, they also bring different skills and other things to the table that's really neat. But some of the biggest challenges that I face right now at Mills is we have a really high turnover rate. So often you'll build that relationship, and then you can really start seeing these students improve, and then they move. And that's really that's a dagger sometimes when you invest all this time and you really start seeing the student shine. Another challenge is they're 12, 13 years old. And I remember vaguely when I was 12, 13, and just a lot of changes going on. And everything seems so important. So you really have to be careful. You really have to be careful. They're kind of at a fragile state there, and but on the twist side, it's just such a great age to work with. I really feel like that is the best age to make a difference. They're really turning into young adults, and as far as being able to influence, I can't think of a better time period.
Now, you've been a teacher for 6 years, and while that's not a great span of time, but within that time, have you seen education change, and how so?
Sure. Well, obviously, the last year or two has been really challenging with the budget cuts. It seems like every year there's more and more that we don't know. Coach, I still don't know if I'm coaching next year because I don't know if we're going to have sports. I don't know if the other teams in our league are going to have sports. I don't know if I'm going to have certain teachers coming back next year who are not only colleagues but good friends of mine. So in that sense, the not knowing factor, sure, that's changed a lot. It seems like and I think a lot of that has to do with money. But generally, no, I guess overall, besides the money factor, I don't think it's changed too much.
How do you see the money factor impacting the students, and what are they saying to you?
Well, the students are kind of oblivious because threats have been made. Oh, we're not going to have sports. We're going to have to cut all our clubs. But nothing's really completely happened. Now this year, things are going to really change. I mean, they've been cutting fat, but I like to say they're starting to get into the muscle now. And it's really going to impact the students. What I think is important, and what we're really working on already, even though school hasn't started, but myself and my colleagues, is trying to stay positive, bringing that optimism, because for better or for worse, the students will feed off of us. They're going to feed off our energy. They're going to feed off our feelings. So we're really trying to keep that positive
And if you don't show that you're motivated, then you would have a hard time motivating them.
Yeah, it'd be hypocritical. And we've already made a pact, we being our staff at Mills Middle School, we're not going to come into the year being negative, or we're not going to say, you know, talk to the state, talk to the superintendent. No, that's neither there or here. We're here to teach, and we're here to be leaders. So I'm actually really excited. There are going to be challenges this year, but anyone who gets in the education field, you have to expect these challenges, and it will pass. It might not be for a few years, but it will pass.
And one of the challenges I know that affects education at all levels is parental involvement and trying to get enough of it. You know, what kind of things do you do to try to encourage parental involvement to help in the classroom and help with your students?
We're constantly trying to create our PTA, which has been smaller than other schools our size. We have really gone technology. We really try and use email and are really trying to go paperless, and contact with parents, whether it's a weekly grade check or not only sending negative emails, but for every, I call them negative emails, you know, Johnny's not doing his homework, we're trying to send 2 positive emails. And that's another pact at Mills Middle School that we're really trying to enforce. And so that makes parents feel more comfortable, because, you know, the parent gets a phone call from a teacher or an email, first thing, you know, what are they going to do? But we're really trying to change that, and because without the support of parents, it's really tough to get full success out of the student. Another thing we do is our sporting events. We have 18 clubs on campus. With all our advisors are really passionate, and we try and get parent involvement in those clubs, parent volunteers. Any of our field trips, our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade all have their own field trips. We invite parents to go to all of those, and that's a really great experience to hang out with not only the students outside the classroom, but the parents, and establish that bond. But yeah, the parent involvement's huge, and you can never have too much of it.
And when you send those little positive emails, it really helps build a relationship with the families.
Absolutely. And then if you do need to talk to mom or dad about Johnny not doing his homework, it's not as much of an attack. They generally understand, hey, this teacher really wants my son to succeed.
So what inspired you to become a teacher?
I was actually heading towards law school, taking my LSAT, and I had a professor, Paul Persons, at Chico State, who was just, I loved his class, and it gives me chills thinking about him right now. And I've also had some great teachers in high school, and it literally, you hear about these things just clicking, and it just clicked. And within a year and a half, I was teaching full-time at Mills. So
it wasn't part of your early plan, was it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually was looking at either getting into probation. I knew I wanted to have an impact. I knew I wanted to make a change. And I looked into probation. I looked into family law. But I really wanted that daily interaction. Because I think in order to make a change, you need to be there. You need to be around. Not once a month, not every 6 months. You need to be around daily. So I have absolutely no regrets.
That's great. So what was your reaction when you found out you were the teacher of the year for your district?
I should have known. It wasn't even a thought in my head. I mean, it was such a busy time of the year, and I was just honored to be a teacher of our site, Mills, because we have such great staff there. And I should have known because my mom just showed up, and she was supposedly flying to New York to visit my sister, and I was oblivious at the time. And then my fiance, wife now, but she showed up, and my reaction, I'm still just smiling ear to ear. It's just such a great honor. Nobody gets into teaching to get patted on the back. Nobody gets into the educational field for that. But with that said, it feels pretty good.
Well, that's great. Well, congratulations to you. We're speaking with Scott Meyer, who is the Teacher of the Year for 2010 for the Folsom Cordova Unified School District. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.